When deciding what game I wanted to platinum next, I had some different options. Games that came to mind were God of War, the Spider-Man games, Ratchet & Clank, Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption, and Final Fantasy 16. The game I ended up choosing was the very first game I ever posted to this channel. That game was Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload, which contains both Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc and Danganronpa Goodbye Despair. But so far I've only played the first game, Trigger Happy Havoc. With the total number of trophies being 45 and those trophies being split between two different games, with PSN profiles having this game at a 4 out of 10 in 80 hours, this journey would soon test my patience and my sanity as some of these trophies were pure grind fests. Without further ado, let's begin the road to platinum, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, and Danganronpa Goodbye Despair. Before I begin, I wanted to let you guys know that I will not be going over the story for both games, but I will spoil some things in the story and gameplay in order for me to explain how I got some trophies. I will also be using the first class trial from both games as background footage. I'll try my best to add a disclaimer when a spoiler comes on screen, but I might forget. It's best to experience these games for the first time, so yeah, try the games out if you have the time. And finally, again, if you don't want any spoilers, click off this video and come back later. Or if you just don't care, then continue on ahead. You've been warned. To start off, we'll go over the story trophies. For this section there are 7 trophies to obtain. I got these for completing the prologue, all the chapters, and the epilogue. Basically just playing the game from start to finish. There are some missable trophies that you can work on, but if you just want to experience the story and not look at the guide, that's okay. This is because they aren't that hard to obtain. For this playthrough I went for 3 missable trophies during the first class trial. Those being, You Must Acquit, What's a Mistrial, and Not From Concentrate. You Must Acquit. For this trophy, I would need to clear the class trial without taking any damage. This was easy because during the class trial, I could save at any point in the trial. So if I mess up at any point, I could just reload the save file and I could continue this through the trial. The following trophy is What's a Mistrial. This is just about the health bar not reaching 0. Since doing this alongside You Must Acquit, it was no problem to get. The next trophy is Not From Concentrate. There are 2 bars at the top right of your screen. One is your health bar and the other one is your concentration bar. All I had to do for this was not press the R1 button at all for the entire trial. If I accidentally did press it, I would just reload the save file I had. It's also best to save after you finish the minigames or answer questions correctly. After completing the first trial, I unlocked the 3 trophies at the end. The next trophy is Tuned to a Dead Channel. For this trophy I'll need to shoot down 500 white noise lines. These lines appear in the second trial and won't show up unless you're playing on kind or mean difficulty. To speed this process up, I played on mean difficulty to increase the number of white noise lines that appeared on screen. And notice that the white noise lines appear a lot more during the 4th and 5th class trials. The final trophy for this part is 9 coins, 9 purses, 9 bears. In the game there are mono coins you can collect that are scattered in random places around the school. To unlock this trophy I would need 999 mono coins. There are plenty of other ways to obtain them as well. You can interact with objects, these will give you 1 mono coin. Another way is to finish the class trials and replay them, as it will give you from somewhere in between 85 to 100. I'm not too sure how much it gives you, but I think it also depends on how well you did during the trial. If you go for this method, it's best to obtain a skill from the character Celeste. When you complete all her free time events, you'll be given a skill that increases the amount of mono coins you receive. You can also get coins from finishing school mode, which is how I unlocked this trophy, but I'll get more into that game mode in a bit. Now let's move on to the Grindfest trophies. Oh boy, these next trophies gave me so much despair. Get it? No? Alright, my bad. This was due to how long and boring some of them are to obtain. To start off, school's out for summer. This one isn't bad during the first run, but it will get boring fast. School mode is a side mode that unlocks after you finish the main game. In this game mode, Monokuma gives you and the rest of the class tasks to build alternate versions of its robotic body. You are given 50 days to build them all, but for this first run I will focus on another trophy, that being Mr. Know-It-All. alongside School's Out for Summer. In addition, picking a goal for Mr. Know-It-All helped me unlock an additional 2 trophies, Skiller Be Skilled and Ghostface Skilla. Firstly, Mr. Know-It-All. This trophy will unlock after you've filled every character's page in their report card. This can be done within the first run. For this, I recommend you have a good number of gifts, as this will help you out a ton. When I finished searching for supplies, I was given free time to hang out with someone. I also got days off where I could hang out with different people twice. To start off, I picked one person to hang out with. Quick note, when you hang out with someone for the first time, you don't have to give them a gift. But if you hang out with someone more than once, then it is required to give a gift as it advances that character's free time event. Also, I had the guide open as it showed me a specific character's loved gift to receive. I repeated this process for each character. Doing this also increased my SP. SP just means the amount of skills you can equip before starting a class trial. As my SP increased, I unlocked Skiller Be Skilled and eventually Ghostface Skilla. After I completed the last character's free time event, I unlocked Mr. Know-It-All. I forgot to mention this, but for this first run, I didn't complete any of the tasks I was given except for the last one. After finishing the 50 days, I completed the first run of School Mode and unlocked School's Out for Summer. This game mode has a Game Plus system, so any stats you achieved in the last run will transfer over no matter how many times you replay the game mode until they max out. I wish this would end for the first game, but we got 2 more trophies and these 2 trophies are just the worst. First up, School's Out Forever. This trophy is going to require a lot for me to explain the details, so here I go. For my next run, after the previous one I had completed, I am now focusing on getting to see every possible school mode ending. In order to see the character's ending, you'll need to max out a relationship with that character. In order to max out a relationship, I'll need to go on dates with the character and choose the correct choice when they ask me a question. Important note, you can only go on a date with a character if you have trip tickets, and the only way to obtain trip tickets is to complete tasks that Monokuma gives you during a certain amount of time. If you complete them, you are given a certain amount of tickets. One thing I had to look out for is making sure that the person who I was hanging out with didn't go unconscious, because if they do, I wouldn't be able to hang out with them. This happens when the character is either cleaning or gathering materials with no rest. Some tips that I used were to build tools that help in HP loss and other tools as soon as possible. One thing that would help a lot is building Mom's Warm Milk, as this is used to fully restore all the characters' health. It's not a good idea to have the characters rest, so that's why Mom's Warm Milk is the best option to maximize the amount of materials I could gather. When I did this, I easily got all the tickets needed for the dates. Getting back to maxing relationships, I used the guide as it makes this part really easy. The guide also showed me the best places to take certain characters and the best answers to their questions. Depending on where I took them and the answer I gave them, will depend on how much of the heart I got. In order to max a relationship, I'll need 10 hearts. Another thing that could happen when I went on a date is I would get a minigame called Trigger Happy Heart. This is a minigame that will present 2 truth bullets and 2 weak spots. Depending on which truth bullet I use the weak spot will determine on how much I have deepened the relationship with that character. Looking at the guide, I can see which choices are best for each character. Lastly, and this is where the Grindfest comes into play, the maximum number of characters whose relationship I can max out is only 5 per run. Yep, only 5. When there are a total of 15 students. If you try to max another relationship with another character, the hearts reset when you start a new run, so it's not the best idea to start another relationship when knowing it's not going to be completed. That means I'll need to do an additional 2 runs, bringing the total amount of runs to 4. I did all 4, and by the end of this, I wanted to quit altogether and jump off a bridge. That didn't happen, so yeah, somehow I managed to pull myself together. Now let's move on to the final trophy for this first part. The final trophy I needed to get is Seriously You Shouldn't Have. This trophy I left for last as some presents can only be obtained during certain points of the story. Looking at the guide, it shows the times in the story in which the presents are able to be obtained. It goes as follows. Presents 1 through 90 are obtained in the Mono Mono machines. Present 91 can also be obtained from the Mono Mono machine in Chapter 2 onwards. Present 92 can be obtained from the Mono Mono machine once you complete Chapter 6. Presents 93 to 100 are obtained from clearing each chapter, including the prologue and epilogue. Presents 101 to 114 are obtained by seeing all school mode endings. When I was working on this trophy, I believe I started hitting the machine in Chapter 2 to get as many presents as I could. I came back to it later as I was working on the school mode trophies. And remember how I said earlier that there was another option option to obtain mono coins, school mode helps a lot. When you finish the 50 days for school mode, you are rewarded with 200 mono coins. I had about 800, and even with 800 mono coins, I still didn't manage to get all the presents. Instead of playing school mode once again, I replayed trial 1, I forgot how many times. One thing to add, when rolling for gifts, it's best to let the percentage, I believe shown on the bottom right, reach 95% a coin at a time. After you reach this, use more mono coins to reduce the percentage. The percentage represents the chances of you getting the same item. If it reaches 0, then you get a new gift. It takes forever to hit the machine 1 coin at a time, and I easily got bored. I came back to the mono machine and eventually got the last gift. Then after all this, I finally finished half of the platinum. With all this finished, let's move on to part 2, Goodbye Despair.
Be butt ass naked so the wind could just be hitting my balls and shit. Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet.
Danganronpa.
For Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, since this was my first time playing the game, I went to the guide to see the trophy list. For the most part, a lot of the trophies were the same as the first game. The first game has a total of 18 trophies, while the second game has a total of 26 trophies. The trophies for the first game were alright, except for...
Oh, hell no.
I soon would discover that Goodbye Despair is worse. One more thing before I begin, there are some spoilers within the guide for the trophy I Should Start a Circus, but we'll get more into this trophy later in a different section of the video. With that all out of the way, let's begin part 2 of the Platinum, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. In this section, I'll go over the story trophies. There are 7 trophies like the first game. These are all obtained by playing through the prologue, all the chapters, and the epilogue. Easy. On to the missables. To start off the missables, we'll see 4 trophies from the last game return for this game as well. The 4 trophies are Any Objections, Case Closed, I'm Sorry What Were You Saying, and the Airborne Static event. For any objections, all I had to do was not take any damage during the class trial. For me, this game's first class trial was hard because I have such a small brain even though I played this on kind difficulty. I had to keep reloading the save file so many times. Up next is Case Closed. All that is needed is to not retry the class trial once. I did this alongside Any Objections and unlocked them both. Alongside those 2 previous trophies is I'm Sorry What Were You Saying? All I had to do was not use the concentration skill once throughout the class trial. If I did use it, I would just reload the save file again. Lastly, for the returning trophies in this section is the Airborne Static event. To unlock this trophy, I would need to shoot down 500 white noise lines. I had my difficulty set to kind in order to make the white noise lines appear, because on gentle they won't appear at all. You could also pick hard difficulty to make more white noise lines appear. Luckily for this game, the white noise lines appear in all class trials. Thankfully, there were so many white noise lines to shoot down during the class trials, I got this one in no time. There do seem to be way more white noise lines in the 3rd or 4th class trials. Additionally, in the game there seems to be different size white noise lines. This just means when I shoot them, they won't be destroyed so easily, and I'll have to shoot at them multiple times. I didn't do this, but if you want to make shooting the white noise lines easier, then you should complete Gundam Tanaka's report card, as after you complete his report card, you're awarded with the skill that increases the damage your silencer does to white noise lines. I wish I knew this sooner, but oh well. Too bad. To end this section is the trophy by the name of I Should Start a Circus. New to this game, but essentially in order to unlock this trophy, I need to find all 5 hidden Monokumas that each chapter contains. There are 2 ways you can go on about obtaining this trophy, the easy way and the hard way. If you go the easy way, then you can use the guide, but warning, as the guide spoils some of the story when telling you where the hidden Monokumas are. If you go the hard way, then it means you don't have to use a guide and look for them on your own. As for me, I went with the guide as I wanted to make sure I got this trophy done and not replay the story. One tip that you could use to look for the hidden Monokumas is to look for them during each chapter's investigation. This is because some hidden Monokumas can only be found during investigations, and you're free to explore all areas.
No, that's wrong!
In the final chapter, I made my way to the final hidden Monokuma, and the trophy was all mine. Let's move on to the next section, the Grandfest trophies. To start the section off, the next trophies I put together as I unlocked most of them while working on Gotta Raise Them All. The trophies in this group are Out for a Stroll, Walking the Walk, Nice Calves, Halfway There, Capped Out, and the 1%. For Gotta Raise Them All, this trophy helped me unlock the other trophies in the group. This is a new minigame where you can raise a pet. There are 6 pets in total and all of them have a hope and despair meter. You can raise their hope meter by giving them gifts, and whichever gift you give doesn't really matter. I just always gave them mineral water. The hope meter never drops, so I didn't have to worry too much about it. The despair meter on the other hand increases when you don't clean up their poops. The pets poop every 100 steps, and if the despair meter reaches 10, then the pet dies and you have to walk 2000 steps in order to get another egg. For me this was tricky as sometimes I kept forgetting that this was a thing, and many times on the bottom of my right, the signal would pop up showing me my pet died. During the early chapters, I raised some pets, I believe it was 2 or 3, but I picked up this grind more during chapter 5, and that's where the other trophies come into play. The next trophy, Out for a Stroll, I just got for playing the game. The description for this trophy is to have Hajime Hinata walk a total of 1000 steps. These next 2 are the same as Out for a Stroll but require a lot more steps, and they are Walking the Walk and Nice Calves. Walking the Walk requires 5000 steps and Nice Calves requires 10,000 steps. New to this game as well are character levels. In order to raise the level of Hajime, you'll need XP, which can be gained several different ways. Some ways are interacting with objects, finding hidden Monokumas, obtaining truth bullets, and most important for this next trophy is walking or running. As for what the levels are for, it just means the higher it is, the more skills you can equip before the class trials. The next trophy is Halfway There. For this trophy, I had to get Hajime to level 50. This and another trophy were big grinds, but let's focus on this trophy for now. This trophy I unlocked while trying to raise pets for the earlier trophy, Gotta Raise Them All. The best way to level up fast in this game is to walk and fully raise pets. When you fully raise pets, they will level you up to the next level. This helped me and eventually I unlocked Halfway There. For the 1%, I got it easily because when you fully raise a pet, they will leave behind some gifts, which for the most part include mono coins, more gifts, and skills. I saved the mono coins I received from previous class trials and eventually reached the 999 mono coins needed. Boom, another trophy down. Before I finish with the trophies within this group, let's get back to Gotta Raise Them All. Since I had already raised some pets in the previous chapter, getting to chapter 5, I put all my attention onto this trophy. I think by this point, I had already completed half of them, and the next 3 pets were going to be a big grind, so I prepared myself and soon got into it.
Allow me to cut through those words!
I started walking and also needed to pay attention on screen because if the despair meter got full, then I'd need to start all over again. After a couple of hours and constantly checking the despair meter, I finally unlocked Gotta Raise Them All. Now onto the trophy that took forever to unlock, the headache by the name of Capped Out. Oh boy, I think I would rather take the 4 runs of school mode over this one. Capped Out is getting Hajime Hinata to level 99. This took forever to complete. The higher the level, the more XP you need. No duh. so I started by using a rubber band on my sticks and left them while I was rewatching some Better Call Saul. Thinking that it would be done after a while, I soon came across a tragedy. I only leveled up from I think was level 70 to level 78. Hajime was still walking, but I wasn't getting any more XP. This was very disappointing, but I got over it and soon started the grind again. This time I had to stay alongside my controller while still using the rubber bands on my sticks. When I wouldn't get any more XP for walking, I stopped my sticks from moving, and after a couple of seconds tying the rubber bands back again, I repeated this process for hours. After this, I got to level 96 or 97 before I remembered something. When fully raising pets, I would get XP to reach a new level. Since I forgot this and remembered only until I almost finished, I started raising pets and soon enough I got to level 99. This trophy was finally done. For the Horde is a trophy where I would need to get all the gifts for the game. There are a total of 140 presents to be obtained. Comparing this to the first game with a total of 114 presents, this was a step up. The order to obtain them goes as follows. 108 presents are in the Mono Mono machine, 8 presents are obtained from completing chapters in the game, 9 presents are bonus items that are obtained in the vending machine or throughout the story, and 15 presents are obtained from completing characters' report cards. The process is the same as I did in the first game. Hit the Mono Mono machine a coin at a time, letting the percentage at the right of the screen go all the way up to 95%. After reaching 95%, I started using a lot of mono coins to reduce the percentage and got new gifts. Soon enough, I got all the gifts and only had to get the presents from school mode. Now let's move on to the final trophies for this section. I had to play a side mode called Magical Miracle Girl Monami. This game mode unlocks early, but I left this game mode until after I completed the main story. There are 2 trophies to obtain by playing this game mode. The first trophy is a magical ending. Unlocking this trophy just required me to unlock all stages of Magical Miracle Girl Monami once. The first trophy up is the magical ending. Unlocking this trophy just required me to complete all stages of Magical Miracle Girl Monami once. After I finished the last level, I got the trophy. The second trophy is Monami won Misty's, right? This trophy was a bit of a grind, having me collect 60 items. 20 weapons, 20 ribbons, and 20 underwear. Not sure why it's underwear, but yeah. In order to gather these items, I used the guide to make my life much easier. The guide tells you the name of each item, where to find that item, and on what difficulty you need to play for it to drop. I wish I could end it here, but nah. I was missing some items and had to replay some missions over and over and over again for a couple of hours. It gets annoying and of course repetitive. After some time, I got the last item needed and unlocked Monami won Misty's, right? With all that, we need one more trophy, and this one was quite nice and interesting. What a novel idea. To get this trophy, I had to read Danganronpa If. This is a light novel that unlocks after finishing the story. I started reading and without spoiling it, it was a fun read. And actually interesting. If you haven't read it, the story is a what-if scenario that takes place during the first game, so it's also a good idea to have finished the first game when reading this. After finishing the light novel, I unlocked the trophy, What a Novel Idea. Now with that all out of the way, let's move on to the final section of this video, Island Mode. In this final section, there are only 3 trophies left before I unlock the Platinum. These last 3 trophies are the same ones we've seen from the first game. The 2 I'll start off with are I Wanna Soak Up Some Sun and Mr. Congeniality. I Wanna Soak Up Some Sun just needs me to complete Island Mode once. Island Mode is basically just school mode from the first game. For this run, I'll focus more on the second trophy, Mr. Congeniality. All I need for this one is to fill in every page of every character's report card. I did the same thing as I did in the first game, which was to hang out with every character and give them gifts they love receiving. Remember what I said in the first part? Make sure that the person who you're hanging out with doesn't go unconscious, because if they do, you won't be able to hang out with them until they return. If they do go unconscious, you could also build items that help revive that character. I built items that help with HP loss and other items that increase the number of specific items I gathered. One more item you should build is Jabba's Hot Pot, which is used to restore HP for everyone. Finally, after filling in every page for all 15 characters, I unlocked Mr. Congeniality. In this first run, I didn't complete any of the tasks for Monami, only the very last one. Finishing the first run of Island Mode, I unlocked I Wanna Soak Up Some Sun. Moving on to the final trophy, I braced myself as I would be taking on Life's a Real Beach.
Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction.
Okay, it's got a little kick. Oh.
For this trophy, I'll need to see every possible island mode ending. Yeah, this was a nightmare that I thought I was done with, but it came back to haunt me once again. I went into way too much detail in the Grand Fest trophies for the first game, but to quickly summarize, I needed to take every single character on a date. The only way to obtain trip tickets was to complete tasks the mod on me would assign, having it built and turning it in on the day it was due. Doing so, I would be awarded with trip tickets, which allows me to take characters on dates. I used the guide to see where I should take each character and what choices I should pick when asked the question. I need 10 hearts to complete the relationship, and sometimes when taking a character on a date, I would get a minigame called Trigger Happy Heart. This is a minigame that presents 2 truth bullets and 2 weak spots. I use the guide to pick the best answer possible. The maximum number of characters I can max out relationships with are 5 for each run. With 15 characters to get endings for, I will need to replay Island Mode 3 more times to max out each character's relationship, bringing the total amount of times I played Island Mode to 4. To add, this game also has a Game Plus system. After this mind-numbing grind, I got to the final character, getting the final ending for Island Mode and unlocking Life's a Real Beach. Alongside this trophy, I would finally unlock the platinum I've been working so hard for, Despair's Last Reward. Another platinum conquered, finally finished. I started this journey to get the platinum on the 19th of June and finish it on the 19th of October, exactly 4 months. I will say that this platinum was mostly fun, except for when it came to the school mode and island mode trophies.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Bye. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
But if a platinum isn't challenging or making us suffer, then what's the point, right? Anyways, before I end this video, I wanted to give a quick review score for both games, because why not? Trigger Happy Havoc is a strong 7.5 out of 10, and Goodbye Despair is gonna be an 8 out of 10. Both games are really fun and really good at getting you hooked on the story and its cast of characters. Also, them OSTs. Sheesh! If you want to listen to some good video game OSTs, these games got you covered. It's one of the many reasons why I always remember Trigger Happy Havoc. If you haven't played it, give it a shot, and if you're thinking about getting the platinum, go for it. One more thing, this is only part 1 of a 3-part series in which I will platinum the entire series of games. So far, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc and Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair are complete. Only Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls and Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony are left. Well, that's all for today, folks. I'll see you all again in 15 years, and I hope you enjoyed this road to platinum, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, and Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair.